Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be sharing this spooky ghost cake recipe with you, featuring this jet black icing, white chocolate ghosts, candied oranges, and filled with a beautiful purple and green marbled cake and green slime filling. To get started, you're going to want to prepare 4 9-inch cake pans, a little oil in the bottom of them, wipe down the sides. Next up, you're going to cut some parchment circles, fold in half, fold one more time, and then fold at the corner. Line the point at the center of the pan and cut off the edge. Unfold them and you should have some pretty nice parchment centers. So to achieve the marbling effect in this cake, I'm going to first start out by making the purple color. And I'm going to be using this really cool stuff that I've never used before, so hopefully this goes well. Ube is a purple potato that's kind of starchy, gummy, but it has a beautiful purple color that at this point in the baking, I hope will translate well. We'll see. So I'm going to start out with 4 egg whites and add that into a stand-up mixer with a whisk attachment. And I just want to whisk these until they get fluffy, not yet a stiff peak. I know you probably want to see into the bowl right now, but don't worry. When I do the next color, I'll show you what's inside the mixer. Nice. So these are starting to get fluffy. And now I'm going to take my sugar, and I'm going to slowly incorporate that in and whip these to stiff peaks. If it is a stiff peak, when I turn that over, that'll stand straight up. We're not there yet. Okay, let's check again. Aha! Perfect, just like a little witch's hat. All right, so I have transferred our egg whites into a bowl. I have changed the attachment onto my mixer to being a paddle, and I'm gonna add in 1 stick of room temperature butter. And I'm gonna whip this up until it's a little bit paler in color. Now that it's a little bit lighter, I'm gonna add in our next round of sugar. And I'm gonna keep whipping this up until it's a light pale yellow. So that has whipped up a little bit. I'm gonna scrape down the sides of the bowl and the paddle just so I can make sure that everything is getting whipped up together. I'm gonna give it another scrape. So I'm gonna add in 1 egg yolk at a time. I'm gonna whip that in and fully incorporate it before I get the next egg yolk. At this point, now I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of milk. Get that nice and incorporated in. Last egg yolk. All right. I feel like you'll scrape down this bowl about 50 times in this recipe. At this point, I'm going to add in our ube flavoring. Since I really don't know the coloring power of this, so I'm going to start off with a little bit. Of course, it's dripping everywhere. Ah! Little napkin action. Give this a mix. Ah! Oh my God. That is so purple. Seriously, you got to see this. Oh, whoa. Purple. That was probably 2 teaspoons worth of that coloring as well. Okay, this is nice and incorporated. We are going to incorporate our flour and our egg whites. Start with half of your egg white mixture. Good job. And you want to start folding this in. And so this folding motion, you want to cut down the center, fold up and around. I'm going to add half of our flour mixture into this. And you kind of want to be delicate with this. You don't want to knock all the air out of it. So take your time. Next, the second half of your egg white mixture and fold. And then the rest of your flour. Beautiful. So purple. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside and I'm gonna basically do the same thing for the green or the pandan. So after finishing up the purple color for this cake, I noticed how little that first recipe made. So for this green color, I doubled the recipe and ultimately ended up making another batch of the purple to get enough to fill the 4 cake tins that I have. Looking good. I also realized that it would be a lot easier just to add the milk into the egg yolks rather than adding it by itself. Every time you bake a recipe, you learn a little bit something new about it. So there was a big difference in the coloring power of the pandan versus the ube. I needed probably more than twice as much of the pandan to get as vibrant a color as I did the ube. So when you're ready to fill your tins, I decided to make scoops across from each other of each color and then randomly splatter color across the top of it. You don't have to do it like this. This is just how I decided. Also, the perfectionist in me got a little bit nervous near the end of scooping everything in and decided to weigh all of my containers to get them as even as possible. After you get all your batter divided, then just take a butter knife and make your swirls. I can't believe how good this is turning out so far. I really hope that this goes well in the oven because I am so excited to see it. So our 4 cake batters are gonna go into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna check them in about 15 minutes and rotate them and then make a judgment call on how much longer they're gonna take from there. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes. These cakes clearly need some more time. So I'm gonna give them another 10 and then I'm gonna check them and see if I should rotate them again. Right now, while these are cooking, this is the perfect time to start getting all of your decorations put together. So I'll be back in 10 minutes to check on these again and give them a good rotate, and we'll keep going. While my cakes are in the oven, I want to give a shout out to Sugarologie. This is the YouTube page that I found this black frosting from. And it is jet black and has no artificial colors in it. And as soon as I saw it, this is honestly what inspired me to even make this cake to begin with. So I'm not gonna show you how to make it. I don't wanna steal her thunder. So I'm gonna put a link up there for you guys to go check it out yourself. So when you wanna make this cake, check out Sugarologie. She takes you through the step-by-step process of making this beautiful pitch black frosting. It is amazing, and I cannot wait to show it to you on my beautiful cake. So one of my garnishes was my blood orange crown. So I sliced up 3 blood oranges in pretty thin slices, maybe no more than 1/4 of an inch thick. Aren't those beautiful? I first blanched them in some boiling water for about 2 minutes. That takes a little bit of bitterness out of the peel. After they've boiled for those 2 minutes, I'm going to pop them into an ice bath to cool them down. And I'm going to start on my simple syrup. I ended up making a double, so it was 2 cups of sugar with 1 cup of water. Popped in a candy thermometer and brought that to 225 degrees before adding my first batch of orange slices. I only could do about half of the slices first. I pushed all of them down into the syrup. I had to push them a couple times during it, but waited and brought the temperature of that syrup up to 255 degrees. And then I placed them on a wire rack to let them dry or cool for about an hour before I used them. Next up, I made my green slime filling. This is just instant vanilla pudding mix with some milk and some more of that pandan food coloring or flavoring. Oh, spooky. Look at that. I then added in whipped cream, and to be honest with you, the next time I make this, I don't think I'm going to add the cream because I did really enjoy that kind of creepy green slime color that it started with. And then for my white chocolate ghost, on parchment paper, just dab white chocolate and then slide your spoon through it. And you have a pretty cute little ghost shape. For the eyes and mouth, you want to take a parchment paper cone. Sorry they didn't show you how to do this, but it took me about 20 times to get it right. Fill it with some dark chocolate and then just pipe little bitty eyeballs and spooky screaming mouths. Adorable. So here's my finished product. In the center is that orange syrup. I watered that down a little bit to make it a little thin. My green slime. That beautiful jet black frosting. My spooky ghosts. And those candied oranges. Gorgeous. Let's assemble. I was so impressed with the color of these cakes. To have them stack properly, I cut off all of the tops. Yeah, I see those big holes. Come on, guys, I'm not a professional baker. I had a little bit of a rough time with the batter. Each layer gets soaked with that orange syrup. And now I'm piping a wall or a dam of that black frosting that's going to hold in my filling. And basically just repeat for the next 3 layers. My last layer uniquely, flip that upside down so the bottom becomes the top. That'll ensure that you have the flattest surface possible for your cake top. I'm sorry about my terrible icing skills and my tiny offset spatula. I did the best that I could. Now for topping, I piped little rosettes of that black frosting on top. That's ultimately where those candied oranges are going to sit. Ooh, spooky little ghosts. And the crowning glory. Well, after all I can say was a very spooktacular day, I am so excited to finally taste this cake. Honestly, some of my favorite flavors in this cake, pandan and that taro, really light, beautiful toasty flavors, super yummy. The addition of that blood orange syrup on the cake, very good idea. It adds a light citrusy note to it. Let's get some of that beautiful black frosting. I can't believe how black that is. Gosh dang, Sugarologie, you are crushing it, girl. It tastes like cookies and cream too. Like, she's amazing. This cake is sure to make your Halloween a little bit more spooky and definitely more delicious. Will mine. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for cooking with me today. Stay tuned for the next episode and don't forget to like and subscribe.